Hello, my name is Jose Fernando, and this is for Activity 13 of the presentations, the story of Edgar Allan Poe, A Telltale Heart, by him. Okay, let's begin. True, nervous, very dreadfully nervous I have been and am. But why would you say that I am mad? The disease has sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I hear all things in the heaven and in the earth. There's so many things in hell. How then am I mad? Heartbreaking and observe how helpfully, how calmly could tell you the whole story. Is it possible to say how first yet they enter my brain, but once conceived it haunted me day and night. Object there was none, passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged me, or he had never given me an insult. For this goal I had no desire. I think it was his eye. Yes, it was this. One of his eyes resembled that of a bulge, a pale blue eye, with a film over it. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran gold. And so by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man, and thus rid myself of the eye forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me man. Madmen know nothing, but you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded with that caution, with that foresight. With that dissimulation, I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently. And then, when I had made an interesting sufficient for my head, I put up a dark lantern and closed so that no night shone out, and then I thrust my head. Oh, you could have laughed to see how cunningly I thrust in it. I moved in slowly, very, very slowly, so that I may not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening, so far that I could see him as lay upon his bed. Would a madman have been so wise as this? Then, when my head was as well in the room, I undid the lantern, cautiously, oh, so cautiously. I undid it just so much that a single thin ray fell upon the bulged eye, and this I did for 7 long nights, every night, just at midnight. But I found that was not the old man who begged me, but his evil eye. And every morning, when the day broke, I went boldly into the chamber and spoke courageously to him, calling him by name in a holy tone, and inquiring how he had passed the night. So you see, he would have been very profound old man indeed. To suspect that every night just at 12 I looked it upon him while he slept. Upon eighth night, I was more usually cautious in the open door. I watched his hand move more quickly than in mine. Never before I felt the extent of my own power, of my sagacity. I could scarcely contain my feelings of triumph. To think that there I was opening the door, little by little, and he not even up to dream of my secret deeds or thoughts. I fairly chuckled at the idea, and perhaps he heard me, for he moved on the bench suddenly, as if startled. Now you may think that I drew back, but no. His room was black as pitch with the thick darkness, for the shadows were close, fastened through the fear of robbers. And so I knew that he could not see the opening of the door, and I kept pushing it steadily, steadily. I had my hand in and was about to open the lamp when my thumb slipped upon the thin fastening, and the old man sprang up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I kept quite still and said nothing for a whole hour. I did not even move a muscle, and in the meantime, I did not hear him lie down. He was still strung up to the bed, listening just as I have done, night after night, hardening to the death, watches the wall. Presently, I was not grown in pain or grief. Oh no, I was more than it was the low, stifled sound that arises from the bottom of the soul when our church were all. I knew the sound well. Many at night, just at midnight, when all the world slept, it was swelled up from my own bosom, deepening, which is dreadful echo. The terror that distracted me. I say I knew it all. I knew what the old man felt, and pitied him. Although I chuckled at heart, I knew he had been lying awake ever since the first night. When he had turned in the bed, his fears had been ever since growing upon. He had been trying to fathom them causes, but could not. He had been saying to himself, it is nothing but one chimney within the chimney. It is only a mouse crossing the floor. Or it is merely a cricket which was made of single chip. Yes, he has been trying to comfort himself with these suppositions, but he had found all in vain because death, in approaching him, had stopped with his black shadow before him, and the battle the victim, and it was the mortal influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel. Although he neither saw nor heard to feel the presence of my hand within the room. When I had waited for a long time, very patiently without hearing him lie down, I resolved to open a very, very little crevice in the lantern, so I opened it. You cannot imagine how stealthily, until at length a single damn ray, like the flare of the sun, shot out of the curved with and fell upon the vulture eye. Was upon wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. A set with perfect distinctions, all dull blue, with a hideous veil all over the chill of the very, very narrow of my bone. But I could see nothing else. The old man's face or person, for I had directed the ray as if by instinct, precisely upon the open damned spot. And now I have not told you that what you mistake for man is for over acuteness of the senses. No, I say that it came to my ear. A low, dull, quick sound, such as I was, makes me enveloped in cotton. I knew the sound well too. It was the beating of an old man's heart. It increased my fury as the beating drum as a stimulus was solid into courage. But even yet, I refrained and kept still. I scarcely breathed. I held the lantern motionless and tried how steadily could maintain the ray upon the eye. Meantime, the elasticity of the heart increased. It grew quicker and quicker and louder every instant. The old man's stare must have been extreme. It grew louder. I said louder every moment. Do you mark me well? I have told you that I am nervous, so I am. And now that the dead hour of the night, amid the dreadful silence of the old house, so strange and noise has decided me to uncontrollable there. Yet, for some minutes longer, I refrained and stood still. But the beating grew louder. I thought the heart must burst, and now a new anxiety seized me. The sound was heard by a neighbor. The old man's hour had come. With a loud yell, I threw once the lantern and leaped into the room. He shrieked once only. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and once pulled the heavy bed over him. I then smiled gaily to find the deed so far done. But for many minutes the heart beat up with a muffled sound. This, however, did not vex me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and held it where minutes before. There was no pulsation. He was stone dead. His eyes troubled me no more. You still think me, man? You would think so no longer when I described the wise precautions of I took the concealment of the body. The night waned, and I worked hastily but sincerely. First of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut up the head, the arms, and the legs, and then took up 3 planks of the floor wound in the chamber, and deposited all between the scanning. and I then replaced the board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatsoever. I had been too wary for that. I thought had cut on. When I made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight, and the bell sounded the hour. There came knocking at the street door. I went out and opened it with a large heart. I now fear? The hell did I have to fear now? They entered the three men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity. As officers of the police, I should have been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been around. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they had been deputed to search the premises. I smiled for what I had to fear. I bade the gentleman welcome. They shrieked. I said as my own dream. The old man I mentioned was absent in the country. I took visitors all over the house. I bade them search well. I led them at length to his chamber. I showed them his treasures, secure, undisturbed, in the enthusiasm of my confidence. I brought chairs into the room, and I desired them here to test from their fatigues, while I myself, in the wild audacity of perfect time, placed my own seat upon a very spot beneath which reposed the corpse of the victim. The officers were satisfied. My manner had convinced them. I was singularly at ease. They sat a while. I answered cheerily. They chatted of familiar things, but ere long I felt myself getting pale and wished them gone. My head ached, and I fancied a ringing in my ears. But still they said it still chatted. The ringing became more distinct. It continued, it became more distinct. I talked more freely to get rid of the feeling, but it continued and gained the fitting until at length I found that the line was nowhere in my ears. No doubt I grew very pale, but I talked more fluently and with a hiding voice, yet the sound increased. And what could I do? It was a low, dull, quick sound, much as what makes when I develop in Scotland. I gasped for breath, and yet the officers heard it not. I talked more quickly, more vehemently, but the noise steadily increased. I rose and argued about trifles in a high key and with violent gesticulation, but the noise steadily increased. Why would it be good not be gone? I paced the floor to and fro with heavy strides, as if excited to fury the observation of the man. But the noise steadily increased. Oh God, what could I do? I found. I raved, I swore, I swung the chair open, which I had been sitting, and crafted upon the boards. But the noise arose over all continuing increase. It grew louder, 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 and still the man chatted pleasantly and smiled. Was it possible that they heard not? Almighty God, no, no, they heard. They suspected. They knew. They were making a mockery of my horror. This I thought, and this I think. But anything was better than this agony. Anything was more terrible than this duration. I could bear those hypocritical smiles no longer. I felt that I must scream or die. And now, again, I heard louder, louder, louder. Villains! I shrieked. Dissemble no more. I admitted the deed. Tear up the blood. Here, here. It is the beating of his hideous heart. And